Adam has arrived.
Hey, Maurice and Odie gonna take over like Zach and Cody. Black and Snurdy is the best podcast. Gonna boom like Wile E. Coyote. Gonna make magic, they move like they hairy. Ain't talking about mental health, no, it's not scary. You know that she coming up with the astrology. Mo got a comic and that's the best policy. Maurice the GOAT, talking about animation cause you know. Odie, she moving wavy like the boat. Watching some movies and she taking notes. Yeah, kick back, listen. Black and Snurdy have risen. Upload on a mission. 5 stars, never dissing. Black and Snurdy, ooh. Black and Snurdy, yeah. Black and Snurdy.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Black and Snurdy podcast, the only podcast where two sexy black nerds get together and shoot the shit. I, of course, am Mo, aka Kid Licorish.
And I'm Odie.
And we are the aforementioned Snurds here on episode 115 of the Black and Snurdy podcast. Yes, indeed. I have to admit I'm recovering from a cold.
Yeah.
So sorry if my energy levels aren't up to what my normal standard is, but I am doing my best to chug along. Chug.
You're like Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yes, I am like Thomas the Tank Engine. I was actually thinking of Major Payne.
I love that
chugging along. Chug.
Yeah.
You look down, it's just your legs ain't there.
That movie was, I feel like we watched that like maybe 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we should go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, I would like to too.
That was like Damon Wayans definitely had a series of really good movies in the 90s.
Yeah, it was
Blank Man.
Yes, Blank Man.
Major Payne. What's another big one?
Mo Money.
And what's the
Not Low Down Dirty Shame. That was Keenan Ivory Wayans.
That was his brother.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least those rule threes. We have 3 of them.
Yeah, we nailed it.
The Wayans family has been a staple in Black Hollywood and in Hollywood in general for decades. So
he's supposed to be coming out with a TV show with his son, Damon Wayans Jr.
I did hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Which that was
been in development.
Yeah,
for a while.
That's been a while now, and I haven't heard an update on it for some time. So, I mean, who knows?
Yeah. I'm sure when it does come out, it'll be really good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always gonna give it a watch and see what it's like. I mean, I did remember that show he had, Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
I did watch that sometimes. It was cute. It wasn't like I liked the movie Lethal Weapon, so I was like, oh, like what's this new reboot going to be like? It wasn't bad. I don't think it had that many seasons, maybe like 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think it only had like 2 or 3.
I feel like it came on right around pandemic times.
Yeah, so it makes sense.
So that probably
why people were watching it,
but also why I would have not like had a long term.
Oh, gotcha.
Because then it's like there were so many shows got canceled around that time because it was like the amount of money you would need
production
for all
and it just made more sense to like, or not made more sense. It was cost prohibitive to do more like reality based shows.
Exactly. But how are you doing outside of having a cold, and we're recording on a different day than we usually do,
and it's pretty late. Yeah. I'm good. Mostly I'm overall good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, that's good.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing good. I had a really long weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to Maryland. Well, I got to go to Maryland.
Shout out to Maryland. MD Pride
the DMV area.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to,
what part of Maryland were you in?
I was in Bowie.
Oh, okay.
Bowie Largo area.
Yeah, sure.
Well, actually, I was in Lanham.
Maryland,
I was in Lanham and Bowie, which are about 20-30 minutes away from each other.
Yeah.
Because I went down there because it was my little nephew Cam C's first birthday. My eldest cousin that lives here in the States. His son turned 1, and they had an extremely extravagant, beautiful first birthday, and it was really cute because a lot of my other cousins in the area, they all have kids now. My sister, has Kata. So getting to see all the babies together, and getting to spend time with them was great. Because they're all like, they're growing, they're walking, they're talking, and they fell in love with me as much as I fell in love with them. So
you fell in love with them so much that you barely have any pictures of them.
Actually, I have a lot of pictures of them.
You have a lot of pictures of Kata.
No,
you do not have a lot of pictures.
I have pictures of all of them together.
The bear, the cubs, and
I have pictures of Asa, and I have pictures of Campsy.
You had like 2.
No,
Fine, 4.
I just didn't show you all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was very fun. Kata had a great time.
I'm sure Kata was in the photos.
He wasn't.
In fact, one of the video was him, the birthday boy in his chair, and Kata coming up to it, and you're zooming in on Kata.
I was zooming in on the both of them because Kata was giving him the money.
I saw the focal point of that video, and it was your nephew.
I took lots of pictures, and videos of all the babies because it was very cute getting to see them together. Because
you have a baby bias.
I do not have a baby bias.
You do have a baby bias. You're biased towards your nephew.
No, but they're all my nephews.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I love them all.
Sure. That's why it took you so long to say it just now.
It did not take me that long. Anyway, I also got to see.
That might be the episode title, Baby Bias.
My cousins came in from. 2 of my cousins came from Ireland. My Auntie Attracta. That was great. Getting to see my other cousins. What?
Nothing.
What is it?
No, nothing.
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 Giggling. Why are you giggling?
I was giggling because you had mentioned your auntie, right? Yeah. That's your auntie Attracta, and I was gonna say, Attracta coming at you.
Attracta coming at you. But that was great, and then just being able to get to see my family and spend time with them. I got to see 2 of my best friends from Howard.
Mm-hmm.
That was
great.
You
packed in a lot for a few days.
Yeah, one of my friends from Ben at my old job, she moved to DC a few weeks ago. I got to see her.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a great time. I got to eat all of the stew and a goosey and pounded jam and all the things that I love. And I will say this is the thing that one of the things I disliked about the DMV is the food is mid. I'm not talking about Baltimore, because Baltimore is a different area.
I'm about to
but specifically
and choke you.
The DMV, like the
outer
Moco,
counties.
Moco and down. The food is mid, and this is like, unless you're getting like a burger and fries, getting any sort of like ethnic food has always been mid. I have had to constantly search and scour to get foods that are good. The best food that I ever eat when I'm in the DMV area, either is at a restaurant that's very expensive, or I'm at my family's house.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, there would be few places.
Well, you were at your family's house.
Yeah, of course. So my family's house food was good, but remember that day we had we had like just a little chill barbecue.
Yeah.
To kick things off, and they got a bunch of different
food. There was mid.
It was mid. We had jerk chicken, stewed chicken, mac and cheese, Singapore noodles, fried rice, some meat pies and stuff. First of all, the meat pies weren't even fully cooked, so that was a bust. The jerk chicken was definitely not jerked. The stewed chicken was definitely not stewed enough. It was just mid. It was mid food. And that has been my experience being in the DMV all those years for college. I was always very frustrated because there's so many people from all around the diaspora that live in the area. And yet it's not great. But I will say,
I think it's your New Yorkness that's making, it might not be that it's mid. It's just that because you live in New York and because, at the snap of a finger, you can have jerk chicken and Chinese food and Lithuanian food and fucking any type of cuisine that your heart desires. And because it's New York, there's a specific quality that New York tends to have, which, you know, like I just think you're a little bit you're coming at it with some food bias.
Okay, I do have some food bias for being a New Yorker. However, I will say
Maybe it'll just be called bias.
there are plenty of places I have been throughout this country that I go there and I feel like the food's really good. Whether I'm getting American food, Caribbean, African, Asian, etc. Now, I will say New York consistently has probably the best outside of California. New York has had the best Asian food consistently. When I go to other places, like it's really hard to find a good like Chinese takeout. The Indian food will be sometimes a little, you know, you never know. But I feel like if you are living in a place, in an area where there's a large group of the people who would be making and eating the food, it should taste better. Because even though, yes, New York, we have such a huge population of people from all over the place, so does DC. It has so many people from all over. It does not make sense. And I shouldn't have to travel to West Bumblefuck, Maryland or West Bumblefuck, Virginia to get quality food. You should be able to drive within your area,
within the metro area,
and get it. Because why? Like, and especially because to me, the DMV is very more expensive than New York in food, in housing, in clothing, and all the things that you want to do. It's more expensive. So it's not only that I
don't know about that.
Not only am I paying
get more room.
Maybe you might sometimes get more room for the apartments.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. And even then, the apartments are still astronomical. Because even when I remember the whole time being in DC looking for apartments, and I would look and compare to New York, way more expensive. Now you might get a little bit more room, but not enough to justify the price. And the food should not, if I'm paying $20 for a simple meal, I think that it should be at least delicious, because there's plenty of places around New York that you could go and you can get for $20, you can have a delicious meal. There's so many cheap eats that people love and would prefer to go to than even a super Michelin-starred, fancy-ass restaurant. And I just don't feel like I get that when I'm in the DMV.
All right. Well, now you've made me hungry.
I'm sorry.
So
if you would like to prove me wrong, send me some places. Send me places that you feel like in the under.
The only places that I would know of are the ones that are in Baltimore.
Exactly. So that's different. But I think Baltimore has a totally, not a totally different food culture, but it is a different food culture than DC. Because I feel like when been in Baltimore.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We're closer to the Chesapeake Bay, so we're a seafood nation.
Yes.
And like
and
we pride ourselves on our seafood.
The food I've gotten in Baltimore, regardless of what it's been, has been delicious. I've had no qualms about that. But
good, because if you did, I would spit in your face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Angry much?
Yeah, for sure. Like, you're not gonna come up in my home and disrespect my food. So Outer Largo, fucking Bowie. I don't. Hey, it's Maryland, but it's not.
Okay.
Maryland,
do you consider Baltimore part of the DMV? Because I've had friends recently who said they do not consider it a part of the DMV.
No, it's not.
Okay.
When I say DMV, I think of the metropolitan areas that can be touched by the train,
like Moco and down.
Can you get to
to Wheaton, like Wheaton up there?
Oh yeah, I guess Wheaton is
go like there and down.
Yeah,
so because I don't even know, I say Moco and down because I don't even know what county is above Montgomery County that people would even be going to, because like Columbia is pretty far.
Yeah, Columbia is pretty far.
So that's like an hour away from DC. But like Moco,
oh boy,
PG.
Sorry, it just reminded me of that time we took a trip all the way to Ocean City. And that was far as
and like that part is technically the DMV, but not. It's just not the metropolitan area.
Fuck off.
And that's that is the part that like if I was going to move anywhere outside of New York, the DMV area would be like the next best option for
Well,
me.
yeah, for sure.
However, it does frustrate me that it's like in New York, specifically in Long Island, in the 5 boroughs, it is so easy for you to get to a beach.
Yeah.
And that is not as easy when you are living.
Yeah,
in those
you
areas.
can use public transportation, and you can get to a beach in New York. Then
I mean, we can get to a beach in what, 20 minutes?
Yeah,
Just on the train, like it's a 20-30 minute, just quick. And
not 20 minutes. Sorry,
it's not 20 minutes to go to Coney Island from here.
Oh, Coney. Oh,
I'm not talking about like Reese Beach. Of course, Reese Beach is like.
I guess Coney Island.
But I mean, it's a beach.
Yeah, sure.
That we go to as like a,
I forgot about Coney.
If you just want to go and hang out at the beach and sit in the sand and get some sun or whatever, and go to the boardwalk, like it's a place that you could just go. You don't have to have a whole plan. Compared to like in DC, you have to either go, like if you have to go to Ocean City.
You have to
Virginia
get
Beach,
a car.
You either have to drive or take the transit and then get another and then drive. And it's just like it's a lot. Like it's cute for, you want to go somewhere for the weekend. Great. But I don't want to have to do that. I want to just be able to go to the beach. I need to be around water. And I feel like the lack of water surrounding DC and like Maryland in the same way it does New York, it's so humid. It's so moist. I literally got off the train and was immediately hit with just humidity.
Yeah, you'll get hit with humidity. One of my, never mind. I won't say who, but one of my friends recently got hit with like a UTI and a yeast infection because of how humid it was this past week.
I mean, unfortunately, because when you were wearing
shout out to you. And
I'm
not saying your name.
Please get some organic cranberry juice and some yogurt because it'll help.
Yeah, that yogurt that Jodie Foster uses.
Jodie Foster or Gwyneth Paltrow?
It might be both.
What do you makes you think that Jodie Foster is using yogurt?
Wasn't she the face of like some fucking yogurt?
Not Jodie Foster. You're talking about the woman from Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis.
And that
was Activia, so that you could have
so that you could poop.
Yeah, but that's not going to help you for a yeast infection. You need like a Greek yogurt, like something that is like
Fage,
like a Fage.
Okay.
Yeah, some people actually they'll stick the yogurt, stick like a tampon in the yogurt and put it up there because apparently the cultures from the yogurt helps to relieve a yeast infection without having to use like those creams from like Monistat or something.
We're 20 minutes in and we're talking about yeast infections.
It's a fact of life. Are you ready to get into our regularly scheduled program?
Well, first, before we get started with that, we should probably pay some homage to our recently fallen Sistren in our RIP section, which I have a banner for.
All right. Well, this past Friday, we learned that Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, who was a Democrat from Texas, passed away after a battle with cancer. She had announced in June that she had pancreatic cancer and she was going through treatment. Her family put out a statement on Friday. It said, "Today, with incredible grief for our loss, yet deep gratitude for the life she shared with us, we announced the passing of United States Representative Sheila Jackson Lee of the 18th Congressional District of Texas, a local, national, and international humanitarian. She was acknowledged worldwide for her courageous fights for racial justice, criminal justice, and human rights, with a special emphasis on women and children." She had been serving in the House since 1995 and was one of the lead sponsors of the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act and pushed for the Sentencing Reform Act of 2015, as well as the George Floyd Law Enforcement Trust and Integrity Act. I think that she has been, even though she was from Texas, from throughout my life, I've seen her picture. I've heard her speaking.
What do you mean, even though she's from Texas?
Because I'm in New York. Even though, like, I'm in New York, she was from Texas, and there's a lot of times you don't necessarily know the representatives from other states very, like,
Fair enough.
Intimately. But
Yeah.
you would constantly see her face. She was someone who I knew, if she was out there talking, people were listening. She was a champion for the rights of everyone, and not just to me. It definitely seemed like she didn't come into power. It wasn't like she was seeking power for herself as much as she was seeking this power to help the community.
Sure.
And not just the Black community, but like all the marginalized communities. And so, it's a sad day. It's a sad time. And now we'll have to, her seat will be up for grabs, and hopefully someone who is worthy of this position and filling her shoes will come in there. Oh, I didn't know this, but she was born in Queens, New York.
Oh, look at that. There you go.
She was a New Yorker.
Yeah.
But, thank you to her for always being open and honest and constantly doing what she needed to do for her constituents and for the larger American community, because we definitely need those type of people in politics that are not there just to run to get the money and the accolades, but actually like make changes in the community.
Sure. So rest in power, Miss Sheila Jackson Lee.
Thank you to Representative Lee.
I thought she was a congresswoman.
Yeah, but her title was Representative Sheila Jackson.
Oh, well.
But she was a representative of Texas.
Okay. Now we can get into our regularly scheduled program with our pop topics.
When you want a hot meal without a big deal, what are you gonna pick?
Pop topics.
All right. So if you've been living under a rock, and we're not aware, on Sunday, what was that, July 21st?
Yes.
Or 22nd? Today is the 22nd. Because it's after midnight, so now it's the 24th. Either way.
21st, Sunday.
The 21st, okay. Joseph Biden, our president, decided to announce that he will be stepping down and no longer seeking re-election.
Yes.
For the 2024 presidential election.
I wonder if this had anything to do with him getting COVID. Because he also got COVID, like within days of him dropping out.
He got COVID like a week before, and he was saying, he was gonna get some rest, still do the things he needed to do, and then the statement came out. So he said that while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus entirely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. It has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as president. And he gave Kamala his full support and endorsement, saying, Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Now, this has been a very interesting turn of events, because this is the latest that a president who would be seeking re-election has dropped out. I find
historic.
Yeah, I mean, it is historic. But I would say that it's very curious that it happened now. And some people were speculating that he did it now because he wanted to wait until after the RNC so that they would so that the Republicans would be focusing all their bias and bullshit towards him, and that Kamala would have like less of a target on her back, because the DNC's convention is starting on August 19th.
Yeah, sure.
But I think that it was a definitely an interesting strategy, because now, I mean, maybe Trump's upset he didn't pick Senator Tim Scott now, because he would have had his diversity hire, because JD Vance has been,
well,
people have been dragging him all over, up and down, and not even just Black people. People from Appalachia,
Sure.
they made a hashtag. It was like you're not even from here, or something like that. It was basically like the Appalachia version of They Not Like Us.
Yeah.
Because
meanwhile, the Republicans had camel toe trending with a K.
This is the thing.
This country hates women.
The Republicans have really
This
been
country hates
trying
women.
to push a narrative that Kamala slept her way to the top. They were bringing out, she was having, I forgot the name of the man, but
She's a socialist.
that she had an affair with this older Black man who was elected official in California, and he's why she got her job. She dated Montel Williams. She doesn't have any children. All of this bullshit when it's like, no, first of all, there are things that I will critique Kamala for.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with who she slept with. Because you want to know what? She hasn't been found on any of Epstein's lists, which Donald Trump has. She has not been indicted and found guilty in any sexual abuse charges like Donald Trump has. Everyone that she has been dating or is allegedly tied to were consenting adults. And it's very sexist and misogynistic to create a narrative that any woman who has a top position slept her way to the top, because that is, it's just false. And also, even if she did, look at the fuck where she got. So clearly she knows how to use her resources, if that was the case. It wasn't like she slept her way to the top of being like the manager at Forever 21. Why are you making that face?
I don't know about that argument.
I'm just
like,
saying,
even if she did, like,
no, I'm just saying, even if she did, I mean, like, look at what she was able to do. If that's, because the thing is, you're telling me, she slept her way to the top. But at the end of the day, she has been a prosecutor she had been a prosecutor before she got into
let's just
politics.
say that she probably didn't sleep her way to the top. Like, not do a devil's advocate about her possibly sleeping her way to the top.
I'm not saying
and
she
just
did.
being like, if she did, look at
she did, who
she got a
cares?
heartbeat from the president's seat.
But who cares if she did? Because at the end of the day, whatever way she got
Who's got President Heartbeat Dick?
Okay, that's
gross. Yeah.
President Heartbeat Dick?
President.
That doesn't even make sense.
Who's got President Heartbeat?
That doesn't even make sense.
A heartbeat away from the presidency.
Anyway, they've been trying to create false narratives about her. And trying to push this idea that she's like a welfare queen who's just been getting checks from the government for this fake work that she's been doing. But she has been in politics and working for a very long time. And she's done many things. She has both accolades and criticisms from people throughout her work, working in the government in California. So it's not like she just showed up. She's not like Melania, who just stands there and looks pretty. Like, she has
does she even do that?
She, like, Trump has
calling a spade a spade.
Trump literally has no.
She looks.
She just
she
looks.
Stands there and she looks.
She looks zanned out.
And where is she? Like, I haven't seen her.
She's not coming outside. She does not care.
She does not care for
She
that
does
man.
not care. She hates him. She never wanted to be first lady.
I always think about those videos where, like, he tries to grab
and she
her
would
hand
push her
and
hand away.
She pushes it away
because she hates him.
Yeah.
But the Republicans have definitely been trying it. A Republican Tennessee Congressman, Andy Ogles, has introduced articles of impeachment against her because he said that Kamala Davy Harris has demonstrated extraordinary incompetence in the execution of her duties and responsibilities, a stark refusal to uphold the existing immigration laws, and a palpable indifference to people in the United States suffering as a result of ongoing southern border crisis in the United States.
Can you impeach somebody who's not a president?
I mean, she's vice president. I think maybe you can.
You can.
I don't know.
Impeach a vice president?
I mean, I don't know. I honestly, that part, I don't know.
It makes sense that if you can impeach a president, you can impeach a vice
Yeah,
president.
I feel like in those probably.
But I don't. I'm not knowledgeable enough of the law to be able to say that comfortably.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise, why the fuck is he doing any of this shit? Like, why?
They're putting stuff out. First of all, they already said a caravan of 400 migrants was coming to pass the border.
That caravan has been coming for the longest time.
Every time
there's always some caravan.
They're always pulling a caravan out of their asses. Because where are these? Because they will do. Remember when they literally throughout anytime there's been an election throughout the 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever there's something going on, they will pull out a caravan, and then they'll not only will they have this caravan, but they'll send them to Democratic states. Remember they sent them to Kamala's residency in DC. A bus loads of people. They'll just drop them there and be like, "Oh, look at what you did." When in reality, you know that these states don't have the space nor the resources, even though their states would, but they want to make it look like it's just some infrastructure failure. When in reality, they're doing it on purpose to prove a point. Excuse me. And I mean, I will say that I'm very, I don't know if the word is proud, but I am cautiously optimistic over the amount of money that she has been able to raise within these last few days. There have been so many Zoom calls that I've been seeing, like Zoom calls. The Black one was the first one. They raised millions of dollars on that call. They had a Black Men for Kamala. Kamala.
On YouTube, like it was like night and day. As soon as Biden dropped out, those commercials about, hey, we need your help. We need any and all donations. Like as soon as he dropped out, here she is. She steps in, and now the videos are of her like asking for donations. And I'm impressed with it.
I mean,
with how quickly that turnaround.
So she's taking over $95 million of that were in Biden's campaign for his reelection, which Trump is he's filed a complaint because he doesn't want her to be able to take it over. And then over the last few days, I feel like she's raised about $100 million.
It's DNC money. Who cares?
He just wants to first of all, he was over there calling her a socialist.
Yeah,
at one of the latest rallies, and a female, and saying that we don't want a female or a socialist. Like, it's just, it's definitely going to be a very interesting. What is it? 104 days until the election.
Oh my God, so long.
But I honestly, I do wish they would have done this sooner.
I said this before when it was Biden and Trump. This still feels like I don't know if this is the worst one of my lifetime, but it's definitely the most interesting one of my lifetime.
I would say,
most interesting presidential race.
Interesting because of the fact that we know what's at stake. And like, for me, like, I have criticisms of Kamala, and I have things that I have to research and read up more about her, in regards to her, because there's been a bit of discord on the timeline about her record in California, because for a long time, people have been calling her Kamala because they said that she locked up a lot of Black people in California for truancy, weed possession, that she
petty shit
was not give trans prisoners gender affirming care or putting them in gender affirming prisons. So there are things that I know that I have heard about her over the course, outside of the good things that she has done. I myself want to make sure that I am reading up on those, because now people are pushing back on that and saying it's propaganda. But I don't, either way, whether it's a candidate that I'm going to vote for or not, you need to know what they have done in the past and their record, so that you can make sure to push back at them. Because at the end of the day, I'm not voting for Donald Trump. If I have to vote for
a
some
known criminal,
a known criminal, a known
criminal who has been
abuser,
charged with criminal activities,
an insurrectionist, like I'm not going to vote for him. However, I need Kamala to come through with one. If Biden doesn't do it, she needs to come out and say, no more will we be providing Israel with any weapons. They are going to be sanctioned. We are going to be helping the folks in Gaza to rebuild, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I will say, Netanyahu is in DC right now. He was speaking to Congress either today or tomorrow. She said she would not preside over that, which I think is a good step. But is that just optics, or does that mean you're not going to be coddling him the same way every other president has and just giving in to his demands? Like, to me, honestly, Biden, what he needs to do is, one, clear those fucking student loans. Clear them. Stop giving Israel any money and figure out a way to get Palestinians out of the danger that they are currently in, and make some executive orders that will help the Supreme Court, that will get back Roe v. Wade, that will secure all of the various issues that we are dealing with right now, because you're done. You're leaving. So just do the shit so people will be like, you know what? You did the things you said you were going to do. Boom. Let's vote for her. Because yes, I know that push come to shove, I will vote for her because I'm not going to vote for Trump. But there are plenty of people who are like, well, I don't want to vote for Trump, but I'm also not going to vote for her because
they're going to go a third party.
They're going to go a third party and just not vote at all. And I think that, like, there's been a lot of criticism of folks on the timeline who have been bringing up Palestine and the Congo and Hawaii and etc. And people are saying, like, no, well, we just have to vote for her because we don't want fascism. We do not. We don't want fascism. Fascism. We do not want it. No, we don't want Trump in office. We already know what he can do. And it's not even about him being in the office. It's what his followers do when he's in office. But that does not mean that we should allow any presidential candidate to just skirt on by and not address the extremely important issues that we are dealing with. And that's a good segue to the next topic I wanted to talk about, which was Sonya Massey. Now, it's crazy to me that on a weekend that was definitely sexually assaulted, abused, Black women will be essayed and otherwise abused and harassed. Trans women abused and harassed. It's a constant struggle to get anyone to listen to our needs and wants and to care about us dying. And so I think that everyone just has to do better, educate yourself, and please do not vote for Trump. I don't want to just vote for someone for the sake of not voting for Trump, but also Trump is going to be 10 times worse than anybody else that we get into power. But we could not just allow folks to be in power and just be sitting on their hands while the bullshit keeps building up and building up and building up. So here we are. Are you ready to move on to the things that made us happy?
Okay. What made me happy this week was going to Yonkers to my friend's wedding party. It was a lot of fun. The food was really good.
What kind of food was there?
It's barbecue food, like hamburgers, hot dogs, potato salad.
Did you eat the potato salad?
No, I didn't eat the fucking potato salad. I don't trust
I know
any potato salad that's not my mom's potato salad, and I won't, and I don't, and I will not. So, and the playlist was very dope as hell. It was fun seeing Ari and her family. Shout out to y'all. Met some cool people as well. I do not remember your names, but I met y'all and y'all were dope as fuck. What else? Yeah, that's basically it, because that's basically all what I did this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Well, you didn't play like Mass Effect and sleep?
Yeah, that's basically my go-to, is just like trying to finish Mass Effect, and I'm on Mass Effect 3 right now, and it is a lot of fun. We are going into a side mission right now, and yeah, it's very interesting right now. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Good.
How about you?
Well, there's a video I sent you of Miss Kansas this past week that I would like you to play. And I will explain why it made me happy.
Off the top. Alexis, what will be your vision as the next brand ambassador for the Miss Kansas organization?
My vision as the next Miss Kansas is to eliminate unhealthy and abusive relationships. Matter of fact, some of you out in this audience saw me very emotional because my abuser is here today. But that's not going to stop me from being on this Miss Kansas stage and from representing as the next Miss Kansas. Because I and my community deserve healthy relationships. We deserve a domestic-free life. Thank you.
Thank you.
To disrupt my peace, and that instead of falling into silence, I choose to live out my vision for a better world. I took my power back, not just for myself, but for my dreams and everyone watching and listening. I'm ready to use my story, tools, and resources to end unhealthy relationships in all forms. And I thought that was, to me, it was really beautiful. I think that there are so many people who have been in or experienced domestic abuse in some way, whether as the first party or like a third party to it. And I think that seeing that was definitely just the way that she handled herself. And she said, you're not going to fuck up what I've got going on, because I am over you and I'm over your abuse, and I'm gonna call you out. And I was very happy to see that. So shout out to you, Alexis. And shout out to any and all people who have been involved in a domestic abuse situations and have been able to leave, overcome, and get the help that you need to heal. Because when you heal, you help heal your community and remind people that, like, you ain't nothing to fuck with. So that made me happy. Of course, going to Maryland to see my family and my friends made me happy. Doing this podcast with you made me happy. And also some very special gifts and things that I got this weekend made me very happy. So yeah.
All right. Sounds good. If that's everything, then that's everything.
Everything is everything.
Agreed. So we will be back next week with more of the Black and Sturdy podcast. Until then, take it easy, keep it sleazy. Thank you for watching the show, and bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snurdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snurdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's ThatsOD_THATSOD.E, and on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Sturdy podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet. Not
No,
yet.
this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.